Well, I've said all the time that the city of Fort Worth wasn't a mortal enemy of the county, as some public officials have seemed to think in the past.
I had invited Mayor Stovall to join us in this interview, but he wasn't able to make it today. Do you and he see eye to eye on most of these things that have developed in the recent years?
Well, I think we've seen eye to eye on everything, perhaps, except the political meeting that's planned for John Tower at the Convention Center Saturday. I don't think that the city transportation should be used to transport people to hear a political speech. I know that...
Can you back up and explain what you mean by the political meeting at the Convention Center? What is it?
Well, there's a conference on aging Saturday afternoon at the Convention Center, and the speakers are Senator Tower and Dr. Fleming, I believe, who's a former Secretary of Health, Education, and Welfare, and Mayor Stovall. And of course, it'd be fine, I suppose, to have the United States Senator there, except that this is a political year, and he's in the midst of the fight for his life for re-election to the Senate, and the mayor is on his campaign committee, and I think it smacks of bad campaign practices to bring a fellow in to make a speech like that ostensibly for the benefit of the senior citizens, when in reality it can be nothing more than a political speech, regardless of what you want to call it.
But in fact, isn't the idea of the conference to explain to the senior citizens what federal programs are available to them?
That's true.
That they might not know of?
Yes, sir.
And they could benefit from the conference.
They could benefit from it greatly, and I think it would be good for as many people to attend as possible. But I think it's in very poor taste to have a senator running for re-election who has consistently opposed everything that's dear to most senior citizens' hearts. He campaigned against Medicare. He's campaigned against expansion of Social Security benefits, and so to get the senior citizens as a captive audience and try to tell them that he's their long-lost friend, well, I just don't think it's an ethical campaign practice.
Have you expressed this opinion to Mayor Stovall?
I certainly have. As soon as I found out that city buses were going to be used to transport people there, I don't think that that's legal at all. And if he needs a United States senator or congressman to speak, of course he could have called on Senator Lloyd Benson, who is not running for re-election. He could have called on Congressman Jim Wright, who doesn't have an opponent, or Tiger Teague, who doesn't have an opponent, and it would not smack of politics. Of course, the mayor said that it wasn't a political speech. Well, John Tower couldn't speak to somebody on the street of Fort Worth or any other city in Texas without it being political until after the November election. Now, we all know that, and none of us I think, are naive enough to buy it.
Do you think that your difference with Mayor Stovall will have any lasting detrimental effect on the relationship between the city and the county?
Oh, certainly not. I don't hold anything. I told him this morning after I complained to him about this meeting that, as far as I was concerned, he and I were still friends, and I've had nothing but the finest of cooperation from Mayor Stovall and from all members of the city council and the city government. It's been a pleasure to work with them, and I wouldn't think that because I think the mayor is kind of out of line in bringing his close friend and political ally John Tower into a captive audience. I would hope that it won't make any difference insofar as our relationship in city-county affairs are concerned. It certainly doesn't with me.